guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. I'm going to jump back into covering the preliminary hearing proceedings for Stacey Wondra, which happened in March. They did not stream this live, so the video came out later. Samantha over at her channel, which I'm going to link to in the comments, has these up, so please do subscribe to her channel. Her channel is Missing PNW Crimes Revisited. Again, thanks to her for putting up all of the videos from each day's testimony and what have you. This particular day I'm covering, there was more obviously that happened, but this particular video will cover the dog handler who had the bloodhound. He is former Sergeant Dustin Witt with his canine bloodhound, Banshee.
An order governing these proceedings, which I don't normally issue, but because I didn't know how many people would appear and that kind of thing, I did issue that in this case. One of the things it requires is everybody that wishes to be present during the proceedings to be present and seated before court resumes and remain seated until we take a break. It's my intent to take frequent enough breaks that that's not a problem. Obviously, have an emergency, You can't do that. But if you do have to leave the courtroom, you won't be permitted to re-enter until the next break. And that's just so we don't unnecessarily interrupt the proceedings, right? I mean, in the course of someone's questioning, it's easy to be distracted. I certainly want to be respectful as a judge of the questioning that's happening from the state and the defense, and I need everybody else to be mindful of that reality, right? I mean, if someone's testifying, if they get interrupted or distracted, it can be problematic potentially, and I don't want any of those issues. And so it's not about trying to control people; it's more about just trying to manage those circumstances. So please be aware of that as we come and go. I'll try to be as true to the times we're setting as I can be. I don't have other proceedings today, so it shouldn't be a problem for me.
Okay, I only left this beginning part in because Stacey Wondra walked in, and I just kind of wanted to leave that for everybody. Take a look at the monster that walked in. It looks like his underwear is actually untucked, tucked over his, his shirt rather is tucked in. And you can see his underwear. He's just a nasty, nasty person. Really. And you notice he looks all around the courtroom to see who's there. Yeah.
All right, so we're back on the record in the matter of State of Idaho v. Stacey Wondra. This is case CR 3825-1295. We're in the midst of the state's presentation of its case in chief for the preliminary hearing. Is the state ready to call its next witness?
We are, Your Honor.
The defense also ready to resume?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can go ahead, Mr. Collier.
Your Honor, the state calls Dustin Witt.
All right, Dustin Witt, is that what I heard?
That's correct.
All right. And just another reminder, witnesses have been excluded. So if you're going to be a witness in this case, aside from the family of Michael Vaughn, you need to be outside the courtroom because you wouldn't be subject to being called if that's the case. Would you stay if you were here? All right. Are you Mr. Witt, sir?
Yes.
All right. If you come down between these tables and raise your right hand, please sworn, please.
Do you solemnly swear and or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right. So if you take a seat up at our witness chair, it's kind of a heavy chair, but once you're seated there, if you pull up, reasonably close to the mic, so we get, and then just it's kind of a big courtroom, so be sure to project as best you can. All right. If you state your full name and spell your last, please.
Dustin Witt, W-I-T-T.
All right. So Mr. Duke, you can begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Witt, in July of 2021, what did you do for a living?
I work for the Merced County Sheriff's Office as a senior sergeant.
Okay, and where is that county?
I'm sorry, it's in California, in Merced County.
Okay. And what were your duties for Merced?
I was a senior sergeant. I was also in charge of our K-9 program, as well as assistant tactical commander on the SWAT team.
Okay, and so I want to focus on the K-9 part. What were your specific duties to being a K-9, or being in charge of the K-9 unit?
I oversaw 10 dogs of various disciplines, managed the program, as well as handled a trailing dog Canine Banshee.
Okay. And because of your work there, were you asked to come and aid in this investigation, or in an investigation here in Payette County?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And so, when did you first get into Payette County?
On August 1st, or 2nd, sorry, August the 2nd.
Okay. And what were you asked to do for the investigation?
I was asked by the FBI to, they picked me up from the airport, took me to the Fruitland Police Department, and they asked me to use my K9 after we collected some scent evidence to run some trails for them.
Okay. And so, what is there a special categorization, or like, what are the duties of this particular canine
My K9?
unit? Yes.
So Canine Banshee is a scent-specific trailing dog, bloodhound.
Okay, and what does that mean?
That means she takes a scent and she will follow that scent and only the one scent. So she's scent discrimination.
Okay, and do you have trainings or certificates related to this?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and is that dog-specific, trainer-specific, or they're...
We do the training together, so she's certified through the National Police Bloodhound Association, and we do the course together.
Okay, and what does the course entail?
So it's a yearly certification. It's a 40-hour certification yearly, and it entails classroom work, field work, written tests, and then being evaluated by an independent trainer on your work throughout the week.
Okay, and was Banshee, or Banshee and you certified through this program?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and were you certified at the time that you came to Fruitland in 2021?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so what's the normal procedure when you're going to use a canine for scent tracking?
Well, first you have to collect something for the dog to scent off of.
Okay, and what's that process normally look like?
So Banshee, myself and Banshee, we utilize through our trainings with the FBI, we utilize a device called the scent transfer unit, which is essentially like a vacuum. You put a gauze pad in there, you put it on top of whatever you want to collect the scent from, and it collects that specific scent. And then it's sealed in a glass jar, so you can take it with you instead of carrying around, such as these objects with you when you're going out in the field.
Okay. And what is Banshee, your scent tracking dog? What is she trained to do?
Can you repeat that?
What is your dog trained to do?
She's trained to follow a scent. She's a scent-specific trained dog.
Okay, so does that mean that, like, would this be like the movies where somebody breaks out of prison and then the dog follows their trail? Is that the kind of thing that we're talking about here?
Not quite like movies, but she takes. So once the scent's collected, we take her to a location, and it depends on the type of case you're working. And she's given the scent pad of the scent that's on the pad, and then she gets to work and she go ahead. She works off of a 15-foot lead, so I'm standing about 15 foot behind her, give or take, as we do corners or obstacles or things like that, and she follows the scent until there's no other scent to follow.
Okay, and are you trained to identify when she's detecting the scent that she's looking for?
Yeah, when she's on trail, I can tell when she's on trail or when she's off trail.
Okay, and so this term on trail, does that mean that that she smells the scent that she's attempting to track?
Correct.
Okay. And is that part of your certification process specific to the dog? When you go and get certified, that you identify when she's on trail versus not on trail?
Correct.
Okay, and so in Fruitland on, I think you said 2nd of August?
August 2nd and August 3rd, yes.
Okay, did you deploy Banshee following these procedures?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so do you recall what the items were used, which items were used to get a scent profile?
The items were originally collected by the FBI, and we used our scent transfer unit at the Fruitland Police Department's evidence room, and we've transferred scent off of a shoe as well as a pillowcase, I believe.
Okay, and once you transfer the scents, so that'd be to a gauze pad?
Correct.
And then did you place that in a jar?
Yes.
Okay. And where did you take Banshee after that?
I went with the FBI, and they took me to several locations. I believe about 6 to 8 different locations in the span of 2 days.
Okay, and did Banshee show any interest or indicate that she was on trail at any of these locations?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and where did she indicate that she was on trail?
Would you like, can I refer to my report to refresh my recollection? For
Yeah, the rules are pretty specific here. You can look at the report. Well, actually, before you do, would you like to look
Yes,
at it?
please.
Okay, we're going to let defense counsel look at your report first, and then I'll instruct you how to go forward.
Question in aid of potential objection.
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, did you write this report?
No, sir.
Who did?
The FBI agent, which was assisting me, off of my notes.
No objection, based.
All right. And so, as Mr. Duke kind of explained there, so you're welcome to review that report, and then I'd ask you to set it aside again and report to Mr. Duke if your recollection is refreshed, and then testify from that refreshed recollection.
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah. So go ahead and look at them. The question was where you were deployed or where you deployed Banshee. So go ahead and look, and once you've refreshed your memory, go ahead and look up from your notes and we can continue.
So there was several locations. One of them was the corner of Meadowlark and Redwing.
Okay. And so specific to Meadowlark and Redwing, what were the behaviors that you observed at that point?
Banshee showed good trailing behavior as she headed down Redwing. After she was given the sit pad, she trailed past an individual that was getting out of a car and just gave her, I believe it was a female getting out of a car, a random car, gave him a head check, and then right back to work, which tells me she was on trail.
Okay. And where'd she go after you passed the female getting out of her car?
She showed some interest in the front yard. Had a bunch of toys and kids playing in the front yard, and then she quickly went back to work, cutting across another front yard to a corner house.
Okay, so showing the interest in the kids, playing with toys, is that behavior indicative that she's on trail?
It was just a quick check of the area. She didn't stay with them, so she was to me she was still on trail.
Okay, and did she continue? Well, did you state that she backtracked or kept going forward? I apologize.
Oh, it's okay. No, she continued forward, cutting across a front yard, kind of like at I would say, a 45-degree angle.
Okay,
Cutting a yard and a half.
And do you recall the address of the house that she was going to, the corner house?
I don't recall off the top of my head. I know it's in the report, but she was taking my notes, and I was focused on driving or working my dog instead of actually looking at the addresses.
Okay. And so when you, is the report accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Would it refresh your memory to look at your report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead and look at that. And yeah, don't read it. Just look at it and your memory's refreshed.
Don't read it out loud, is what it means. But, Mr. Gates, any objection?
Well, at some point, Judge, he can remember or he can, and this report was not written by him, and so he's referred to it, he's refreshed his recollection, and now he needs to do it again. At some point, he will, in essence, be reading from a report that he didn't write. So there are limits to this, Judge, I guess is what I'm saying.
True enough. This was a long time ago, Mr. Witt, so it makes sense, at least to the court, that someone may not have a perfect memory of something that happened 4 years ago. But the whole point of a refreshed recollection is to look at the report and then be asking yourself, do I remember this, or am I simply reporting what I'm reading? And if you're simply reporting what you're reading, then I need you to disclose that. If, on the other hand, you read that report and that does refresh your memory, then I'm going to permit you to testify. But that's what you're testifying from. You're testifying from your recollection. If it turns into a situation where you're just recounting what this document says, then I need you to disclose that to me as well as the parties, so they know that's what's happening. So go ahead and do the refreshing. I'm just explaining how that works. You probably know that, but I'm just explaining that so that it's clear. And I appreciate Mr. Getty's concern as it relates to that.
All right. And, well, I guess before we get there, did you ascertain the address where Banshee, the corner address where Banshee was leading you at some point during this process?
The FBI agents that were with me, they wrote down addresses and any behavioral changes I gave of Banshee to them for this report.
Okay, so did you ever see the actual address?
I personally did not.
Okay. Is this house, is it the corner house on Meadowlark and Redwing?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, and so when Banshee was leading you here, what happened next?
As she was trailing down the street and cut across the yard, she went to a fence area and a garage area on the corner house and showed interest in that general area.
Okay, when you say showed interest, what does that behavior look like?
So she started looking up, like she was looking for a way into the yard. Her head was popping left and right. And then at that point, I took her off and casted her into the front yard area towards the next cross street. And I don't recall what the cross street is. But then she showed no interest and turned around and went back to that same area.
Okay, so Banshee turning around and going back to the previous area that you were just at, is there any significance to that?
Yes, it shows that she had she wasn't following scent anymore after that. In that front yard area.
Okay, and so does that mean that she was on scent at the house, but then when you put her in the front yard, and is that the front yard of that address or a different house?
So the front yard where she had the good trailing behavior, once at the gate in the garage area, when I pushed her to the yard area, past that, there's no other houses. Past that, it's just the roadway. There was no trailing behavior there.
Okay, so does that indicate that the scent trail does not leave that house or doesn't continue on, but is it specifically at that address or that home?
All I can say is she did not have trailing behavior. So as far as
Okay.
past that residence.
Okay. So once she turns back, what did Banshee do next?
She again showed interest and back up to that the man gate and the garage area of the corner house.
Did she show any more interest in that general area outside of this home that you described?
Not on this particular trail.
Okay. So, and were there any other indicators that she was on trail that we've missed as far as at this address?
This address, no.
Okay. And specifically, she showed interest in the garage area, and I think you said man door, so like the gate to the backyard, is that correct?
Correct.
And is that man door on the left side of the garage or the right?
From my recollection, I believe it's on the left.
Okay.
But again, that's just from my memory from 5 years ago.
Yeah. Do you recall, was it the man door in between two homes?
Correct.
Okay. And then so were there any other trailing behaviors in that specific area?
Not that specific trail, but other trails. Another trail there was.
Okay, and so where was the other trail?
So again, without looking at the report, I'm just going off my memory. It was, I believe, 8th North, is it Northwest 8th Street or 8th Street, which leads to a bluff area. And she showed good trailing behavior up into the bluff area.
Okay, and what was like the terrain like at this bluff area?
It was very rough. So before, originally she trailed to that area, the corner house, a big shade tree, and then she showed interest, but there was a lot of construction work going on in the area, and she was tired, so we took a break right there for a little bit, and then got her some air conditioning and came back to that area.
Okay, and so where did she lead at the bluffs area?
She showed good trailing behavior, looking over the bluff and then down the dirt road, and then there was a little cutout trail that cut back over. She showed good trailing behavior there up until some really bushy area with big trees. We couldn't make our way into that area at all, so we just let the team know that was there, her behavior, and let them handle anything from there.
Okay, and do you recall what exactly her behavior was that made you believe that she was on trail at that location?
Same type of behavior, a lot of interest, looking for a way in. Banshee was the type of dog that bloodhounds are not just going to walk right into a bunch of thorny bushes and stuff, and I had to pull her to keep her from going into those type of bushes. So to me, that was good trailing behavior.
Okay, so you prevented her from going further into the bushes because of the nature of the terrain? Is that
Correct, yeah.
Okay, where you were at, were there any other items that you recall, or any items where she was showing interest that were like on the bluff or in that area?
There was nothing on the bluff that we saw.
And were any other officers with you while you were where you were working your dog in this spot?
So during the whole time, the FBI agents were with me, and then during the bluff, due to the terrain and whatnot, there was several other individuals who came out to help as well. I couldn't tell you who they were or what agencies they were from, but there were several. After the bluffs, well, that area leading down into the bluffs, is there a sign going into a neighborhood right before you go down into the bluffs? I don't recall.
Okay. But is that headed towards the highway going up 8th Street there? Like the Highway 84, the busy highway?
Where she was trailing to, or the bluff?
Yeah.
Trailing to the bluff, it was there's like a river there, I believe.
Okay.
So I'm not familiar with the geography in this county.
Were there any other areas where Banshee alerted to, or was on trail?
So another trail, she was on trail as in she left, again, the streets, she left the neighborhood where there was a bunch of deer antlers in the front yard of a residence, and then trailed up the major roadway, which was leading us towards, which I believe is 8th Street, which was leading towards the bluff area, and she showed good trailing behavior up that street, all the way to the corner house where we ended up taking a break at, which I mentioned a few minutes ago.
Okay. And well, when you say the corner house, do you mean the corner house on on Redwing or a different corner?
So this is a different corner house. That would be a different trail. So this would be the third trail, which she showed good trail behavior.
Okay. And so you were running Banshee on the 2nd, 3rd of August, is that right?
Correct.
And Michael Vaughan was missing on the 27th of July. Is that time, or I guess, would you expect to be able to track with that kind of a delay?
It depends on various factors, really. It depends on how old the trail is. The trail might not be that old. It might be fresher than that. We just don't know. Given the scent, she showed good trailing behavior is what I noticed from my dog.
Okay, and so are you trained on, well, I guess, in your training, is there an expected window when a scent would be available?
There's not a set amount of time, so to say. However, it really depends on the factors. How old the trail is. Is it as old as what we say it is? The weather, terrain, things like that. So there's a lot of things that play a factor into it.
Okay, and would the strength of the scent play a factor into that as well?
The strength of the scent can either be helpful or not helpful, depending on how strong it is as well.
Okay.
I can elaborate on it.
Please.
So say like somebody runs out of this courtroom right now and runs to the street. One would think that a trailing dog can just find them quickly because it's only a 20 seconds old trail. However, that scent might be so overpowering that they might have trouble finding it because it's just engulfing them with that scent. Same thing with a trail that's really old. It might be like connecting the dots, like you play with when you're a kid, right? So there's a lot of variables in it. Just because it's new doesn't make it easy. Just because it's old doesn't make it easy or hard. There's a lot of things that go into the trail.
Okay. Okay, thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
So, like he said, he came in from California, I think it's Merced County, with his bloodhound Banshee, and I got some pictures I'm going to put on the screen as is throughout his testimony. You guys probably saw them. I looked up the dog because I'm always curious about the doggies. And it seems like he did some amazing work. I mean, that dog, she found the Wondra home. It's just, it's always just so sad to me how long it takes for it to get to this point. You know, you're talking 5 years. And that is sad for me, you know, when I think of, you know, the Vaughan family, you know, with everything that they've gone through, that it's taken this long to 2026 for there to be prosecution of any of these, you know, suspects. And Stacey's just the first one. I am hoping and expecting the other 3 to follow very close behind Stacey Wondra.
Sir, how do I refer to you? Are you a sergeant, a captain, a police officer, detective?
None of the above.
Mr. Witt?
Just Mr. Witt's fine.
So your only involvement in this case comes from the FBI reaching out to you and saying, hey, we could use some help?
Correct.
Right. Do they do that often?
They've done it, I think this was the second request. The first one I didn't go. It was back east somewhere.
So do you go all over the country?
For training I did. For deployments, just here to Idaho was my first out-of-state deployment.
So you've never been to Idaho before?
No.
Had Banshee ever been to Idaho before?
No.
Not sure where.
Not well. I got her when she was 1. So,
Okay. Where did you get Banshee?
South Carolina.
How old was she when you got her? 1?
1.
So I guess that leads to the question of how does someone like you, were you trained in canine scent animals prior to finding Banshee?
No.
So you and Banshee went on this canine scent journey together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so you actually, what went into you finding this particular dog? Tell us how that happened.
We were looking for a different type of dog. Generally, law enforcement has apprehension dogs and detection dogs, and we were looking for a trailing dog, specifically a bloodhound. So that's kind of how the journey began.
Can a trailing dog be any other kind of dog other than a bloodhound, or does it have to be a bloodhound?
No, it could be any other type of dog.
Why were you looking for a bloodhound, or did that just happen by accident?
That was the company in which we found, which we were referred to. They were breeding bloodhounds and training bloodhounds, so that was the route that we took.
Is that something that you networked through police agency kind of contacts, or were you just surfing the web and said bloodhounds for sale, and that's how you found it?
No, we used a team out of San Bernardino County. They have a very successful, in California, San Bernardino County in California, they have a successful bloodhound program and canine program, so we reached out to them, and I spoke with their handlers about their dogs, and spoke with them, and that's how we ended up with the bloodhound in the place where we purchased her from.
Okay, so this particular bloodhound Banshee, you obtained her, you went to South Carolina to obtain her?
Correct, sir.
Yeah. And did you have any kind of get-to-know-you time, or did you just go and pick her up and say, this is the dog that I get?
No, prior to going to get her, I took several online classes about nutrition and wellness and those type of topics. And then once I got there, I spent 40 hours with her, learning her and training with her before coming home with her.
And when you say training with her 40 hours, just kind of getting to know and training with her, training how?
Well, she already spent a year learning her job, so now I had to learn her. So we ran trails, we bonded together, we worked with other teams that were there, went on trails with them, learned about the dogs, things like that.
Okay, so you indicate that you obtained Banshee, I'm sorry, is Banshee a male or a female?
She's a female.
Okay. You obtained Banshee when she's 1, and then you've said she had a year learning her job. She was learning her job from the moment she was born?
Approximately 8 weeks old, they start with basic training with the dog, essentially play hide and go seek with the dog.
And do you know anything about that? Can you describe what that entails, hide and seek?
So as a puppy, they do runaway trails, simply maybe from here to where the deputy is in the back of the courtroom, and they see the person run away, the dog chases them. And then as slowly as the dog gets older, they progress into scent articles, then the harness, then the lead, and just basically putting all the components together so the dog can learn it as they get older. So by a year old, they're ready for a handler.
So this company in South Carolina, did they have more than one dog?
Oh, they have several dogs, yes, at that time.
And did you go to South Carolina with one dog in mind, or were you there to introduce yourself, hang out with these dogs, figure out which dog you thought would work best for you?
Banshee was picked beforehand based on phone calls, videos, pictures, details that were sent to us about all the dogs. Banshee was the one that was chosen.
So this was a pre-arranged marriage?
Correct.
Was she chosen because she had some particular proclivity that the others didn't? Why was she chosen?
Based on the videos, just her energy, her drive was more than the other ones that we saw, so we went with her.
So you use some terms, I'd like to dig into those a little bit. You talk about scent evidence. When you use that phrase, those two words together, scent evidence, what does that actually mean?
It means collecting a scent and using that as, and the dog using that for the dog to take the trail. So this water bottle could be scent evidence if I'm using it to trail myself because I'm the one touching it.
Does a dog like Banshee, who is specializing in scent evidence, do they have any other skill sets? Or are they just trained to be scent evidence dogs?
Just school demonstrations, hang out with the public besides working.
So it would be fair to say that Banshee would not be a cadaver dog.
No, she's not a cadaver dog.
Different skill set,
Totally different.
different training.
Yes.
Okay. You also use the phrase scent specific. What do you mean when you say scent specific?
Meaning that if she's given a object for myself, and me and you walk out this courtroom together, and you go left, I go right, she's going to follow my scent because it's specific to the one that which I gave her. She won't go that way.
You say scent discrimination. What do you mean when you say scent discrimination?
Determining a different type. So on trails, there's different people trails, there's animal trails, there's just life's environment out there. And so discriminating between the different scents to stay on her particular scent.
Now, when were you trained in kind of collaborating with a scent dog before you went to pick up Banshee and work with her?
What do you mean?
Were you trained in? Were you a scent dog officer or handler by the time you met Banshee?
No, sir.
You had not been through that training yet.
No, sir.
Okay. Banshee had been through some level of training up to the point you got there, and then you had to train together.
Correct.
And what does that look like? Who all trained you?
We bought her from Georgia Canine by an individual named Jeff Shedler, and him and his team is the one who trained Banshee up until that point.
Okay. So sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
Okay. Now, so when you met Banshee essentially already had what you, I guess, could call a handler or someone who had worked with her for that year of her life?
No, she had several people. Whoever was the workers in the kennel there, they would take her out as well as the other dogs and run the trails and train her at that point.
Okay. So was this kennel where Banshee came from part of this? Can you please state that again? The National Bloodhound Certification Organization. What's that called again?
She's not from there. She's from a place called Georgia Canine.
Okay. So she's from Georgia Canine. That organization is separate from the National Bloodhound Certification process.
Correct.
Okay. Now, how much time did you spend, and if you've answered this question, forgive me, how much time did you spend with Banshee and her kind of kennel folks before you took her and came back to California?
40 hours.
How many?
40 hours, 1 week.
And that was an official training program?
Correct.
And that's the first time you had ever taken that kind of program?
That's correct.
Okay. So you were learning this brand new?
Correct.
Never done it before?
No.
You talked about multiple scents. I'd like to explore that a little bit. Is it possible for a canine to, at the same time, be able to discriminate multiple scents? Like, question withdrawn. Let's go here first. What are good items that a scent dog can find a scent on? Like they can find a powerful scent on, that's particularly good for scent discrimination. And what are items that are kind of bad for scent discrimination? Can you give us an idea?
Well, we use the scent transfer unit, so it always puts us in on the same piece of material. It's a gauze pad, like a 4x4 gauze pad that goes in the machine. So that's always what she's given for the scent.
Okay. However, that doesn't actually answer my question. So let's say I am at home and I put on a pair of socks and I wear those socks for a day. And my 18-year-old son comes in and he needs socks and sees my socks sitting there and he puts them on, right? How does a scent-specific dog, like a bloodhound, differentiate between my scent and my son's scent?
On that particular one, that would be very difficult. especially if they're in a common area, like laying in the living room, so to say, I probably wouldn't collect that as a piece of clothing to use.
So would you say that my socks would be a scent that a bloodhound would be able to find easily and trail easily?
The socks would be a good scent article.
Okay. How about one of the rings on my finger, like a metal item?
That would be a good article.
Are there certain things that you would say that doesn't work for me? Like, could a family member bring you an item and you'd say that's not good, I need something else? What would be those items?
I would say things that are in a common area of a house, maybe like kids share a hamper. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we share a hamper, and they're both the same gender, and you don't know who wore that shirt or who didn't wear that shirt type of deal. Those wouldn't be good articles.
Right. And that's helpful. But what I'm trying to do is dig a little deeper into particular materials, like a metal item or precious gems, a piece of something that someone wears. Like, for instance, would an article of clothing be better for a scent dog than a piece of jewelry? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so what's the answer there? Do you know?
As long as the person has worn it, either or, I would use either or.
Is there any particular household item or piece of clothing that you would just say, no, that's bad?
If it belongs to the person, then it's all good.
Right. What about how do bodily fluids play into that? People sweat, they sometimes bleed. Could potentially, if you were using someone's underwear, there could be all sorts of potential bodily fluids there. How does that intersect with scent differentiation?
As probably disgusting as it sounds, I would take that over a normal piece of clothing because it enhances the person's smell.
Okay, so what you're saying is the more fluids, the better.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
From my experience.
Go ahead.
From my experience.
Okay. A shirt being worn by a boy versus a shirt just coming out of a washing machine. What would be the difference between those two? Let's say, in this case, Michael Vaughan is the missing child. He wore the shirt. The shirt was just washed. The shirt's taken out of the washing machine. Can that still be used to find the scent?
No, I would not use that.
What about a circumstance where, in a home where people are kind of collectively living and sleeping kind of anywhere and everywhere? They don't have kind of their specific spaces. Would that make the scent differentiation more difficult?
It would make the scent article in which you want to collect a little more difficult, yes.
So I'd like to talk about the gauze pad process. You talk about that briefly, but I'd like to dig into that. So you take these classes, you do this field work, you do a written test. I assume the dog does not take the written test. You take the written test?
Correct.
Okay. With your dog? Are you doing things with your dog during that written test, or is that just you sit down and do a written test following your training?
No, it's actually, for the National Police Bloodhound Association, the written test is after the lecture part of the course, which is at the beginning of the course.
So talk to us about this mechanism by which you take an item of clothing, you process the scent out of it, and transfer that scent into a jar. Tell us in detail how that works, please.
So I was trained on that through the FBI, the Human Scent Evidence Team, in Quantico, Virginia. And ultimately, it's a machine in which they developed, and it's called the Scent Transfer Unit 100. And you put a piece of, it's battery powered, probably with I believe it's like a 12-volt battery, kind of something you would use for your kids' big wheels or cars, electric cars. And you put the gauze pad in after you sterilize it, wipe it down, alcohol wipes, clean it all up after each use or before each use. That way you make sure it's sterile. There's no other scents on there. You put the gauze pad on there, you turn it on, and you hover above it. So if we're looking at my water bottle here, you don't want to touch the article. You just want to be just above it. And About 60 seconds, 90 seconds. You just go back and forth over the article. You don't transfer. So if I'm doing the water bottle, I'm not going to now go to my seat of my chair, because now that would be two different articles in which I'm doing. So that would be a separate, that would be a cleaning, get it reset, ready to go again. Now once that article's taken, it's put into a glass jar, and that's what you take out into the field to use for your different checks or your trails.
Do you use that gauze pad repeatedly?
You can.
This particular gauze pad and this particular moment, you must have had two of them, right? You took a scent from a shoe and a scent from a pillow?
Correct.
And so you had two separate gauze pads?
Correct.
Two different jars?
Correct.
And then you mark those, this is shoe, this is pillow?
Correct.
And you take that gauze pad and you totally sterilize it first, is what you're saying. So you could use it, you maybe used this gauze pad in California on another case?
No, I think you misunderstood. Is you sterilize the machine. The gauze pad is brand new in the package.
Understood. Thank you. So, in this case, were those the only two samples, the shoe and the pillow?
That I recall, yes.
And you marked those shoe and pillow and took them with you?
The jars.
The jars?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me, you weren't in the room presumably, but if one of the witnesses in the family testified that there were multiple people that used that pillow, how would the scent differentiation work where multiple people have used that pillow?
If multiple people use that pillow, then yeah, it wouldn't work as well as, say, a shoe who only one person wears it.
Okay, so your testimony today is that people living in a common area, items from a common area where multiple people sit on a couch, multiple people use a blanket, multiple people, are in a living area, those types of scents are harder to differentiate.
Correct.
And so potentially you don't actually know who Banshee might be trailing under those circumstances. It might be anyone in that home that has touched that pillow or worn those shoes or been in that common area.
In theory, yes.
Okay, so when you arrived in Idaho, you were met by FBI agents, you say?
Correct.
Who were they?
Sorry, I was taking a sip.
You're fine.
I don't recall both their names, but they picked me up from out the Boise airport, but the one that's closer to here. Can't recall what town it's in, because we flew in on the sheriff's airplane, and then they picked me up and brought me to the police department.
And Banshee came with you?
Correct.
On the plane?
Yes.
Amateur question, but how does a bloodhound's ability to scent, how is that impacted by different locations, different stimuli? For instance, you work with Banshee out of California.
Correct.
Completely different place than Idaho.
Correct.
You got on a plane with Banshee. Maybe she flies well, but how does that type of an experience impact or affect a bloodhound's ability to obtain a scent and follow a scent? Is there any impact at all from your dog working in California, from your dog working in Idaho after a plane trip?
There's no impact. She's flown all over the United States, and we actually trained of flying in the helicopter, landing, getting out, and running a trail directly after landing to help her with those environmental issues and any incidents that might come about due to the flying.
Okay. So you've tested in those particular, with those particular variances and have found Banshee to still be able to do the job?
Correct.
Has there, let me go back a step. In terms of your training with Banshee, how many hours of work would you estimate you have worked with Banshee?
For training and
Just for training?
in the life of her career,
Sure.
oh boy, thousands probably. We had her for 7 years.
Is there a certification process through this Bloodhound Association that you talked about?
So the National Police Bloodhound Association is the certifying body for bloodhounds that are purebred. So she yearly is a 40-hour course which you have to attend.
You have to do that every year?
It's a yearly recert, yes.
Okay. And where is that done?
In California, it's done in several places across the United States, but in California, it's done in San Bernardino County, Riverside County, and Southern California area.
Okay. So you and Banshee go out and kind of prove your stuff?
Correct.
Yeah. And are you tested at the end of this program?
Yes.
What does that testing look like?
It is the final trial. Well, actually, it's a week-long accumulation. Showing that you can check all the boxes, that you're working with your bloodhound, that she's not distracted, she can run trails, both fresh ones, distracted ones, blind trails, just the whole gamut.
And in this recertification process, is there like a final exam?
It's a cumulative of the week, so you have to pass the week in order to pass the course. You do run one final trail at the end of the week, which is basically like an overnight trail, and but you have to pass every set of the week in order to get certification, or you just get a participation certificate if you don't.
I don't really know how to phrase this, but in your testing, is there a percentage of fail rate? I mean, humans are human.
Right.
Sometimes they get it wrong.
Right.
Dogs are dogs. Sometimes they get it wrong.
Correct.
Right? Like a bloodhound can maybe, instead of following a scent, find a squirrel. Right? So how is that incorporated into your training? If you're going through this recertification process, I guess my question is, does Banshee have some sort of a percentage fail rate?
So the training is so the trails are ran. We'll take like the last one for instance. It's in downtown LA. So large traffic, a lot of contamination, animals, different things like that. So that's how they're tested throughout the week, is throwing them in those different circumstances to prove the dog's reliability. In the certifications, Banshee didn't have a fail rate. She passed every year she went the flying colors.
100%?
Yes.
What about in field work? Has there ever been any failure in field work for Banshee?
There's been times she's lost trail and we called the trail, yes.
Okay, I'm going to go into that a little bit later, but your testimony is today that Banshee has passed all of her trainings with 0 errors.
All her bloodhound certifications have been passed, yes, with 0 errors.
Sounds pretty good to me. I mean, this is interesting stuff. I do, it's a lot to listen to. This former, I think he's a former sergeant, I believe, Dustin Witt. It's interesting to listen to how these bloodhounds work, because they're different. There's all different kind of dogs that they work with in these police and sheriff's offices. So obviously he's a bloodhound, she's a bloodhound, excuse me. Banshee's a bloodhound, so she just tracks scents from that kit. They get a kit and they get the scent in there for her, and that's exactly what she's searching for, period. And it sounds like her success rate and when she was tested was perfect. I mean, you can't get any better than that, right?
And so back to Idaho, the items that you used, the shoe and the pillow, they were not actually collected by you. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Okay. Who were they collected by? Do you know?
The FBI.
When you got off the plane, was there a period of time? Did you go to a hotel and kind of rest for a while, or did you just get right to work?
No, we got off the plane. She took a break, and we went back to work. We went to the Redwing Police Department and got a briefing and went to work.
Okay. You said under direct examination that the FBI took you to 6 or 8 locations. Was it 6? Was it 8? Are you guessing? Like how many locations did the FBI actually take?
Count on here if you like, but on the report.
Would you please do that?
Yes.
Yes.
6, 8.
And were all of those locations in that neighborhood, or did you go outside of that Fruitland area neighborhood?
They were all within that neighborhood.
So if you could orient us to the neighborhood, you mentioned 8th Street. So do you remember 8th Street in that neighborhood?
I remember it was a major roadway that ran through from the end to the bluff area. That's what I remember about it.
Do you remember the 8th Street ends in a gravel road and begins?
By the bluff?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So you're familiar with that? With
Yes.
that area.
Somewhat.
Okay. Were you taken to Michael Vaughan's house?
I was taken to a corner intersection, but I did not know where Michael Vaughan's house was.
So to the best of your recollection, you didn't actually go to Michael Vaughan's house?
To the best of my recollection,
In your work with Banshee, did you ever go in a house?
no. No.
Did you ever go onto a property in yards?
Yes.
Did you go into backyards?
No.
So when you're working Banshee, you're going through a neighborhood and she's just kind of going where she's going, and you're not necessarily asking people for permission for her to go on a yard, for instance, somebody's yard.
No.
You're just following her lead.
Correct.
But you didn't go into houses.
No.
Do you remember the first location they took you to in this neighborhood?
I believe the first location was the one I stated with the deer antlers in the front yard.
And that distracted her?
She showed some interest in those for whatever reason. That was new to her. We don't usually train deer antlers, so she showed some interest. And then I corrected her, told her to get back to work. She went back to work.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, that kind of goes back to my question about whether different geographies can make a difference, right? Like maybe in California, you have never worked a case where there were deer antlers hanging on someone's yard or garage or something, right? So here in Idaho, deer antlers are kind of everywhere. So that distracted your dog, right?
Correct.
And you used the word, I had to correct her.
Correct.
What does that mean, I had to correct her?
When I notice she's off trail, like she goes from one through that, I just tell her, hey, get back to work. Basically the same tone and voice I said right now, and then she goes back to work.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
So let's talk about that a little bit. You talked about you used the phrase, head check. You said you were walking down a street, a lady was randomly getting out of a car, and Banshee did a head check. What does that mean?
I mean, I'll show you if you want. She's going down, she looks to the left or to the right, wherever the person or object is, and then kind of a side eye, and then she goes back to what she was doing. She doesn't deviate. So she's not distracted by it, she's just simply checking it. And from years of working her, when we're on a trail and there's a person walking by, it's more of a check, like, okay, that's not my person or my sin. I'm back to doing what I want to do.
So would you say that head checks are common?
Yes.
And would you say that they don't actually distract from the mission?
No, they don't.
They don't concern you at all?
They don't.
That's not behavior that needs to be corrected?
No.
So if you could, and it's not my intent to embarrass you, but when your canine, when Banshee's on trail, what does that look like? Is her head down? Could you demonstrate for us like what she's doing? Like is your nose down and your tail wagging? Like what is on trail? What does that mean?
So I think a lot of people when you talk about like people say tracking and trailing. They're two different things. Banshee's a trailing dog, right? So tracking is more of your footstep for footstep, like that type of deal. Banshee's a trailing dog, so she doesn't necessarily, and I'm not going to get up and show you what she does, obviously, but for instance, if somebody, again, walks out of this courtroom, straight out those doors, right? But then there's another door on the side entrance over here, and all the doors are open, and that person's standing over there, Banshee might take a shortcut this way, go out that door, because the smell and the air conditioning, the ventilation system is pushing that air. So she might not follow that person directly out those doors. She might follow the scent, which is coming from the other side, if that makes sense.
And her head's down?
Depends.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Might be up. If the scent's strong, she might be looking up. Her head could be down on the ground. It could be a combination of both. There's no real. She's a trailing dog, so.
So, all due respect.
Yes.
Like a dog's a dog. They wag, they bark, they move their heads, right? How is it that you know that she's on trail versus just checking out something?
From years of working her and knowing her, I can tell you if she's going to go pee or she's going to take a poop based on the way she's walking.
Really? I mean, it's kind of common sense that these dogs are specifically trained to do the things that they do. Okay? And the handlers are trained with the dogs, which is, he's already been very clear on that. So obviously the defense is just trying to nitpick, oh, a dog's a dog. No, you know, they're all dogs, but there are specialized dogs, and Banshee is a specialized dog that her handler knows her very, very well.
And so, to go back to those head checks, if it was a distraction, she would come off and start wanting to, she loves people, right? Starting to intermingle with them. But on trail, if it's just a quick head check and right back to work, then I know she's on trail.
What are actions that Banshee engages in that require correction?
On a trail.
Yes.
We'll go back to like the deer antlers, right, in the front yard. Spending a little extra time there where I think she's just wanting to investigate those and not just checking them, that's something I would tell her to get back to work.
Anything else?
There could be other things. There could be, let's see, there's maybe like dog feces, things like that. Something where it's overwhelming and she might want to check on it a little bit longer than just a quick check. I'll tell her to get back to work.
Okay, so you've talked about how getting back to work is just as simple as get back to work, and she does that?
That's correct.
Is it sometimes hard to get her to go back to work?
Not if there's a scent, no.
When you first got here to Fruitland and the FBI picked you up, where is it? Where were you when you took the pillow and the shoe and prepared your glass vials? Where did you do that physically?
In the Fruitland Police Department's evidence room.
Okay, and once you had those two samples, you went directly to the neighborhood they wanted you to check out?
They drove me, yes. I didn't drive.
You used the phrase not following scent, and that's what I wanted to kind of differentiate a little bit. So when you get to Fruitland, you have this scent. What was the first scent you gave her, the shoe or the pillow?
The shoe.
So you gave her the scent of the shoe, and you get out of the car, and they take you to a location, and you start walking around. How do you know when she picks up a scent?
So I can just walk you guys through the process.
Please.
And so go to the location. First thing I do is when we get out of the car is I orientate her. So I walk her not on. So she wears a harness with a 15-foot long line. And so I won't take the harness off her or the lead off her collar yet. I'll walk her in a big circle around the area. Basically like around the courtroom right here, and then we're going to end towards the middle. So she's taking an inventory of her surroundings, taking in all those scents that are out there. And then as we get there, I stand over top of her, I hook her up, and then I bring the gauze pad over top of her, and then she sees it, she looks up, I tell her to skid it, which is like which what she was trained with. It's just kind of stressing. You say, I'll say, Banshee, skid, and she'll go ahead and she'll go to work.
And so that's what you did in this case. You got out of the car, you gave her the command, and she went to work.
Yes.
And where was the first indication that you felt like she picked up the scent?
After I told her to get back to work, after the deer antlers, she started showing good trail behavior after that.
And just take us through your journey. Where'd you go?
On that particular trail? Now, I'm not going to be able to tell you the streets. I can tell you the directions because I'm not from the area. So after that, she went up to the intersection. She went across the intersection to the other sidewalk. And then she started trailing down 8th Street towards the bluff area, that way. But we were out at the other end at this point, so it was quite a ways up the road. While we were trailing, a female and a kid riding like a big wheel bike started past us as we were going down it, and she did one of those head checks, and then went right back to work, and then continued on.
So this neighborhood has a subdivision, right?
Yes.
And the house that you're talking about where you felt like she was very actively detecting a scent, there were actually two houses there, right? There was one on the corner and then one next door?
Correct.
What was her behavior at the house on the corner specifically, as opposed to her behavior on the house next door?
So the house on the corner, this is a separate trail than the deer antler one. Just-
Understand.
Okay. Her house she cut across the yard at a like 45-degree angle at the neighbor's house. Went up, and then she started showing that interest. Her head went up, looking around by the gate that goes into the backyard, in between the two houses, and then along the garage door. So because of that behavior, I took her farther out, away from the house, in the front yard area, as the sidewalk wraps around, to see if she would take a scent continuing on or not. And she did not. She wanted to come back towards the garage and the fence area.
So both of those houses were indicated?
No, the center point of the house, where the gate is in between two houses.
Okay. And you did not take Banshee into the backyard through fences or anything like that?
No, sir.
Or into the houses?
No, sir.
Okay. So where that bluff is, did you
Actually, before I'm confused. So I just need to clarify. So we're talking about two houses, one on the corner and then one next to the house that's on the corner.
Correct, John.
When you say the garage door, as I understood your testimony, is that the garage door of the house on the corner or the house next to the house on the corner?
The garage door on the corner house, and then the man gate that goes into the backyard, that's in between the two houses.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Go ahead.
So let's go to this bluff. The bluff area, you were there personally with Banshee, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And you're saying she was trailing a scent there?
Correct.
Okay. From the shoe or the pillow?
From the sheep.
Okay. And the bluff on the left side kind of goes up,
Correct.
right? And to the right side it kind of goes down.
Correct.
And there's like sagebrush and bushes all along that road?
Yes.
Yeah. And it kind of winds down and goes down to the river?
Correct.
Yeah. Did you follow that road all the way down to the river?
I did not follow the road all the way down. There's a little cutout that's like a walking path that dog legs basically back towards the right, I would guess it would be. And that's where she went.
Did you ever see kind of the swampy area down off to the right of that road?
It was really dense down there. As far as bushes and stuff, I couldn't see much once we got down in there.
Okay. And Banshee did not go in that area at all, or did she try?
What area?
In off of that cliff off to the right.
She tried to go into, there's a bunch of like thorny bushes and whatnot. She tried to go, but I wouldn't let her go.
And what did that indicate to you that she tried to go into that area?
There was something there that there was the scent when she was following. She was interested in that area, is what it would let me believe.
Down off of that ledge.
Yes.
Was this where you said you intersected with several other people, including the FBI agents?
The FBI agents were always with me the whole time.
Okay.
They were like my tour guides of Fruitland.
Okay.
And the other individuals, due to our findings there, they started showing up as well, due to our interest down that bluff area.
Were these law enforcement officers or civilian searchers?
I believe a combination of both. I'm not sure.
So, at the conclusion of all of this, how many hours do you spend going through this neighborhood with Banshee?
A few hours, I would say. I don't recall the exact number off the top of my head.
Was it a one and done? You were there for a day and then you left?
We were there the first day, and then the second day, Banshee was tired, and there was a couple more checks the FBI wanted to do. So we spent the night, and then the next morning, we ran those other checks.
Still in that neighborhood?
Still in the neighborhood.
Did you ever go to any houses outside of that neighborhood? Did you go to a house in Cuna?
No.
Did you ever go to a house in Meridian?
No.
No other houses except in that neighborhood.
Correct.
Did you have your dog, Banshee, how does Banshee and her trailing behavior intersect with vehicles?
As far as...
Can she determine if someone with that scent has been in a vehicle, for instance?
As far as trailing, can you be a little more specific?
Well, can Banshee give you an indication if some particular person that you're trailing has been in a vehicle?
So there's kind of two answers that I think is the question's a little vague. Is if somebody got in a vehicle and left, she's trailing, she's obviously not going to follow that vehicle from here to Boise, right? But she would go to an area, if the scent was strong enough, she would go to an area and then show interest in that area, and then that would be up to investigators to kind of find and piece together, well, did that person get picked up in a vehicle or something like that. To go to the second part of it, if that vehicle was there and the person had been in there and now they're not there, is that?
Yes.
Yeah. So if the scent's there and that vehicle's there, she could show interest in that vehicle. Yes.
So hypothetically speaking, if you have your scent and you're trailing someone with your dog and there's no active scent, but all of a sudden there's an active scent near or in a car, that could be an indication to you that that person might have been either near or in that car.
Well, if there's no active scent, she's not showing behavior, we're not going to trail. So we wouldn't get to nothing.
So to just kind of wrap this up, I guess, is it fair to say that, well, one more question. You did say the word was once related to Banshee, and that made me wonder, is she still active?
She passed away just before Christmas due to medical issues.
I'm sorry about that. Okay, so she's no longer active.
Correct.
Okay, and this was her only activity with you here in Idaho was August 2nd and 3rd?
Second and third, yes.
So to wrap up, Banshee can essentially take the scent of a child's shoe and can tell us certain things, right?
Correct.
Can tell us where that child maybe has been.
Correct.
But it could also maybe tell us where someone else has been who maybe wore those shoes or was in a common area with those shoes. Is that accurate?
Correct.
And so the areas that Banshee actually trailed on related to a pillow or a shoe could have been related to someone other than Michael Vaughn, correct?
That could be correct.
Nothing further, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any redirect from the state?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. All right, I'm going to have the bailiff hand you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit 3, 4, and 5. When you were running Banshee, did Banshee show interest in this house? Well, first, the pictures. Can you tell us what those pictures are of?
These pictures are of a white house. Not sure which one for.
Okay, and when you were running Banshee, did Banshee alert to this house? Or, sorry, was Banshee on trail at this house?
Based on, I would say, Exhibit 4 and Exhibit 5, that house does look familiar.
Okay, and do you recognize that as the house that Banshee was interested in?
I recognize on Exhibit 5 this gate area and then this cutout by the window and as she trailed along and showed interest along the garage door area, yes.
Okay, and so when we were talking about the house on the corner where Banshee was showing interest, does that picture show the area that Banshee was showing interest?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and is that just image 5 that you recognize?
Image 5 and image 5 is the best one that I recognize due to the two gates in the middle and then how the cutout of the window along the garage door. That looks familiar to me.
Okay, Your Honor, the state would move to admit State's Exhibit 5.
Any objection?
Yes, Judge, I guess I'm a little concerned. I don't get to see him again. Mr. Witt has indicated that it looks familiar to him. That's not necessarily a definitive opinion. I guess my objection is he has said, yeah, that was familiar to me. So I would object to their admission. I don't think he's actually said, yes, that's the house.
Well, so I'm not really clear. In your objection, one of relevance or foundation?
Foundation in this witness's knowledge of what he sees.
Your Honor, can I further foundation, if that helps the court?
All right, so, yes, I mean, I guess to try to give parties clarity about how I perceive the objection, I'm guessing a little bit because it wasn't objection, foundation or something like that, but as to the part about whether this witness is qualified to provide testimony about whether these images are familiar in the context of this investigation, I find he's qualified to do that, so I'm going to overrule that objection if that was the objection.
Thank you, Judge.
As far as the foundational issues, as far as the relevance issues, I do find that this is a fact of consequence, making something of consequence more or less likely. So I find it relevant, but I do perceive that more foundation can be laid to add clarity in this case about what the witness means. And maybe it's not objectionable, but it will help the court from an evidentiary standpoint in evaluating testimony. And that way I suppose help the parties too. And so I would like the state to lay more foundation. And then, Mr. Geddes, if you wish to ask questions in aid of a more kind of precise objection, then I would certainly put that to a motion. So, go ahead, Mr.
Thank you, Your Honor. So on image 5 there, is that the gate that Banshee was showing interest or leading to?
She was showing interest in this gate right here between the two houses.
Okay, so earlier when you testified but couldn't recall the address of a house, is this the specific gate that you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay, Your Honor, based on that, I would admit Stacey's Exhibit 5.
Mr. Geddes, any further objection?
No objection.
And any objection to the admission?
No.
All right. So Exhibit 5 will be admitted. And we didn't make a good record of the process when we got these exhibits up to our witness here, Mr. Witt. The state did provide the documents, the photos to the defense to review. There was no objection to having them delivered to the witness. I presume, Mr. Geddes, if you had it turned up, that you would have raised it.
Yes.
Okay, good enough. All right, so 5 will be admitted, and I'll just ask that the 3 and 4 be returned to the state. Other questions, Mr.
Yes, Your Honor. So,
Well, before you begin, do you want to keep this for a minute, or are you done? Ready for me to have that?
no, that's the court can have that. Your
Okay,
Honor.
good. Go ahead.
So we were talking, or you and Mr. Geddes were talking about if there's multiple scent profiles on an article. And I guess first off, when Banshee was on trail at the house, the subject of Exhibit 5, do you know what scent profile she was using? Was it the shoe or was it the pillowcase?
It was the shoe.
Okay. And then at the bluffs, when Banshee was on trail, do you recall which item Banshee was had used as a reference in that instance?
It was the shoe. The whole first day was the shoe. Second day we used the pillow.
Okay. And did Banshee show any interest at the top of the bluff, like where it overlooks that kind of steep downgrade?
That was where it led us down. Like, so she found a way. We went down the road based on her behavior at the top. Otherwise, if we didn't have any behavior there, we wouldn't have ventured down the bluff.
Okay. Okay. And then when Banshee was trying to, I guess, get like into the thorns, and you pulled her back. Was that over concerns for the welfare of your dog, or was that because for a different reason?
No, strictly the welfare of the dog, getting torn up going into the thorns, but also we don't know. Well, I didn't know because I don't know the area. Like if it just drops off into the river or what happens, right? So, and once you're in there, you're not going to be able to trail very much anyways through the thorns. So, we just pulled up.
And as part of Banshee's training, is she trained to try to get Or does she follow trail, or does she try to get to the point where the scent trail terminates? Or I guess when is Banshee done at a specific spot?
She's done when the scent runs out, or if it's like say like a late bell from a criminal aspect when the person's found, or the scent runs out. There's nothing else to follow. Then we call the show.
All right, thank you. No further questions.
Recross from the fence. All right, thank you.
So that was good testimony. Obviously, it's very just technical stuff on how the handler, Dustin Witt, former sergeant in California, Merced County, how they worked their bloodhounds, and it was sad to hear that Banshee, she passed away, but obviously she did a lot of great work, including tracking Michael, little Michael Vaughn, and she tracked him right to the Redwing house of where Stacey and Sarah and all the other nasty monster suspects, they all lived together, not far from the Vaughn family home. I really like this preliminary hearing because it kind of gives us a chance to see sort of how the actual trial is going to go. So I do appreciate that we're getting to look at it, after the fact, and I'm going to continue to go through it, and some videos will have less commentary than others. Obviously, I'm not very well versed on the whole canine handler thing and all that sort of stuff, so not as much to say on that. And I'm going to try to keep them to around an hour or less if I can. But as always, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll continue to go through them, like I said, and definitely check out Samantha's channel. I will have her link in the information of the video. So we are standing monkey strong here on True Crime Beat, TCB. We are definitely in Monkey's army over here. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.